So despite the point of breakover, it's taken care of with a shoe like this. The shoe will still allow some protection because of the crease in there. There's all kinds of things we can do to modify this beyond what is already done. It's also got a V groove, so it's easy to pull the nails out individually if you need to, and the nails fit adequately in there. I'll put that shoe on. I'm going to have to narrow it up because it's a little too wide, and in doing that I will extend it so I feel I'll have the length that I need to fit this horse's foot. When I evaluated the shoe on the hoof, I felt that the branches needed to be straightened out and brought in. So at the point in which I'm going to start straightening them out, I'll put that on the horn and hit beyond. I'll pull it back to the point where I felt it needed no more straightening out and hit before, and that straightened out that branch. I'll flip the shoe and do the same thing to the other side. Hit beyond the horn, hit before, and that straightened that branch out. I also need to bring that branch in somewhat because the shoe is just a little wide. I'll flatten that shoe out, and while I'm doing that, I use the round side of the hammer on the inside width of web. That'll knock that inside width of web down a little bit more. These shoes are already recessed somewhat so that I do not have contact between the shoe and the sole. I choose to heat the shoes up because I feel I can get a much more accurate fit, and because it takes stress off of my joints as I'm altering the shape of those shoes, as it becomes much more malleable once it's heated. So I want my toe to fit, the toe of the shoe to fit. Then I'm going to look at the second, third nail hole, see how that is, and then work back. I like the toe. I need to adjust this, bring the shoe in, so I'll move back with my horn in here and hit beyond that to bring that heel in somewhat more. Because the horse travels base narrow, wears harder on the outside, I will extend the crease or increase the width of web laterally on this horse. If you're working on narrow horses like Arabians, Standardbreds, Pasafinos, they may have completely different deviations, and what you have to do would be related to their conformation. So when I forged a crease into there, a fuller, I just extended that laterally on the outside. You can see my lateral mark. It gives it just a subtle difference in width to allow that horse to float more on that side of its hoof. I'll take it to the grinder and I'll round up all the edges, smooth everything up so there's no sharp edges to hurt this horse, the person taking care of the horse, or the horse's buddies out in the field. So laterally on the outside, I increase the width of web subtly by increasing the length of the fuller. I just drew it down more. On the inside, medially, I further reduce the width of web or the ground surface by the grinder. There's a lot of ways to achieve the right task. I've made adjustment to the shoes. I'm going to check one last time the shape of it. When I picked up this hoof, I noticed a wet spot right there in that dark area. It might be appropriate to probe that and see if that's a puncture wound, or to get the appropriate care for that horse. And you see that dark area there? Sometimes it's just moisture. It rained hard last night, but that looks like it may have been stepped on a thorn or some sharp object. You can see it's definitely a puncture wound. And as a farrier, my responsibility is insensitive tissues. So at this point I'm getting very close to sensitive tissues, beyond my circle of influence. So at this point it would be a good idea to consult the veterinarian. We'll put the shoe on to protect the hoof and then go from there. Check the shoe, make sure that I've appropriately covered that heel. And then we're going to use a 5 city head nail for this hoof because we have a thinner hoof wall, we have a smaller shoe. This is an a 0 SX roller. I'm using a 5 race nail that fits appropriately in that shoe. I'll put 2 nails in, I'll set the hoof down, I'll evaluate the position of the shoe, and if everything is appropriate, then I'll continue nailing. I see that my shoe is shifted, so I have a lot more out here than I had intended, and I'm very tight on the inside, so I need to adjust that shoe, get it in the position that I want it in, and then continue nailing. In there, I can gently put my pull-offs on the side of that shoe, side of the hoof wall, just gently pull that shoe over into the position that I had expected it to be in. Then I'll continue nailing that shoe on. Once I have the nails that I feel are appropriate in there, I'll use the urethane hammer and the clinch block and start the clinch. Putting the clinch block underneath the nail where it exits the hoof wall, this will start the bend in that nail. This is an SX aught roller. I'm using a 5 race nail. I'll set 2 nails in that shoe. Evaluate the position of it while it's standing on it. If everything is appropriate, I'll continue nailing. And place a finger up alongside the hoof wall. I aim for that. Remove my finger and continue driving that nail. Set the foot down, reevaluate. Now I like the position, so I'll continue nailing. using the urethane hammer and the clinch block. Block those clinches, it starts the nail bending. Once I have the shoe nailed on, I'll pull the hoof forward, put it on my hoof stand. Be conscious of the horse's natural range of motion. I prefer to bend those nails over to 90-degree angle. Then I'll take my file and I will file them all square and to a uniform length. Then I'll come underneath them at the same angle as the hoof wall and take any burr that may exist out from underneath. Once I've completed that, I'll use the clinchers to fold that nail over and push it to the hoof wall. And then using the smooth side of my file, I'll take all sharp edges and blend those nails into the hoof wall. And we'll trade places. I take that foot forward in the natural range of motion. Bend the nails over to 90-degree angle. Taking the file, I'll rest them all the same length. I'll come under that nail at the same angle as the hoof wall and take any burr off. And then using the clinchers, I'm folding them over and tight against the hoof wall. Taking the file again, I will smooth that up, smooth those nails off. Hang on, buddy.